what is causing most people suffering is their relationship with the mind, is their relationship with thinking. It maybe not for everyone, but I do believe that it can be boiled down to that. What is the relationship that you entertain with your mind, with thinking? If you observe the quality of your thoughts on a day-to-day basis, if you really become the observer of what is happening in your mind, it will become very clear what the mind does and how the mind identifies with certain traits, how the mind identifies with the past, with the future, what happened to you, the story of me, how I can't get through the story of me. The story of me is defining me. It was my past that I'm bringing it into the present. It will define my future. Then the mind, our relationship with the mind, is what causes our suffering. In other words, there is a huge difference between an event and our mind's commentary and relationship to the event. An event is an event. What the mind makes of the event is what sticks, is what creates unpleasant memories and traumas and all these things. And the process of identifying with the truth that the mind builds, the story of me, is what causes suffering. There is nothing to do to actively pursue in order to kill the mind. There's no point in trying to achieve that. It would be a mistake. The first step is to recognize the mind for what it is to invite spaciousness within, like we spoke about earlier, is to realize that there is within you bits of data circulating all the time that the mind makes personal, that thinks about the past, about the future, about you, about the contours of your identity, where you come from, and what's painful, and reliving what's painful, and this reinforcing your sense of self constantly, the mind, thoughts. And if you can create spaciousness within, if you can start just through pure observation, not by doing anything, to recognize that you are not the mind. You are the witness observing the mind. You are not the mind, you are not the thoughts, you're not the emotions attached to the thoughts. Emotions just being thoughts incarnated into the body, really. There is a sense of spaciousness between who you really are and the mind. I find that going about it this way makes it less personal. There is not a separate self that is on a vendetta against you called the shadow self that is trying to ruin your life. It is just a process that we are addicted to that is causing us suffering. And that process is not who you are. You're the person witnessing that process and observing it from a place of distance. And it is inviting that spaciousness within, between that process, thinking, dysfunctional, addictive patterns of thinking, and who you really are, that is going to alleviate the anxiety that comes with just being human and being alive. And that is not something that requires any doing per se. It is just a state of pure observation. If you can start observing your thoughts and observing the rhythm of your mind, it will become so clear that you are not the mind. It will become so clear that you're the instance, ever silent, ever non-judging, never commenting, always just observing purely and stillly the mind. You're the thing observing it. And the more distance is invited within, the more you carry focusing on that stillness and that spaciousness within, the less weight, the less importance, the less gravitas you will give to the space that mind and thoughts occupy. You will see it for what it is. It is actually impersonal bits of data moving through you. And the mind holds onto it and grabs it and tries to make it personal. And because the mind is a pattern making and meaning making machine, but it is not, it certainly feels personal. I know it does, but it is, you're not the story of me that the mind is trying to paint of you. You are the truth witnessing it. And to invite that spaciousness within is the first step towards a sense of stillness because of separation between who you really are and this constant and permanent change happening. And if you can see that who you really are cannot be wounded by the impact of your thoughts and feelings, then you will come to realize that there is an innate peace that was always there, but it was just veiled by the movements and the addiction of the mind and the suffering it causes. There is no peace to find. You are that peace. It is just veiled. It's been veiled by layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of conditioning created by the mind. I hope that made sense.
It did.